Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm going to say this word, and I want you to think for a moment what it means to you. And the word is peace. Peace. Conjures up different things for all of us. But the one thing we all need, and many of us want, but maybe don't even know it, is peace, like true peace. What is it? How do you get it? Why is it so important? We're going to talk about that today with an amazing life coach that helps people with self-improvement, guidance, grief, many elder care, so many different categories that she helps people move their life forward. Peace would be the one today. And Dawn Manderfeld is with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Steve. How are you?
Feeling some peace. Feeling some
Well,
peace.
that's good. That's good.
You know, it's funny. I used to, when I would go to church, when I was younger, and even, even, in later years, people would say, peace be with you, peace be with you, peace be with you. And I'd say, same to you, peace be with you. I just saying it. I didn't really know what it meant. I'm being very honest until I realized I don't have any peace. I don't have any peace. And then life started changing, and I realized how important it is. How do you define peace?
Peace is a state of mind of even when things around you are chaotic, you are okay with where you are in that situation because you have set yourself up to know who you are, to trust how you need to stay and how you need to be in that situation. And even though it may be so chaotic around you or so sad around you, everything that you're going through, you just know deep inside of you,
Mm.
you know what? This is just a part of life. It's going to be okay. This is a season. I'm okay with this. I'm just going to breathe through it. It's one day at a time, and I can do it. It's just really believing in yourself that you can handle the situation that you're in.
Do you feel that peace is the end game and there's lots of things that point to it to get you there?
Yes, and peace can also come and go as you are learning how to um, as you are
Mm.
learning how to trust your own instincts, and as you mature and you go through all these different seasons in your life and different situations, there are different levels of peace. And even though
Mm.
sometimes you may not know how to handle a situation or how to handle a day, you've learned to take a deep breath and just say, you know what, I'm going to give it my all today. And my all, whether it's good enough for them, it needs to be good enough for me. But as long as I'm just breathing through it and knowing that I'm doing the best I can, that's another whole level of peace. But there's so many different ways to learn peace. And there are so many situations peace is easy to have. But like I said, as life goes on, as you start working through all these different situations of life and growing older and all the changes, peace can just get stronger and stronger and stronger and easier and easier and easier to actually just set your mindset in it. You literally can control that. So yes, it really can determine. Some days you can have complete peace, some days mostly peace, and some days, whew, I need to breathe through today and I need to allow myself to have peace in this situation.
Do you feel so much to talk about here? There's so many, I think, aspects of peace. You need other things before you can get to peace.
Yes.
Some of those things that first come to mind for me is faith in universe, spirit, God, yourself, building resilience along the way. You fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up quicker the next time, keep moving forward. That all points to peace. It's not easy to get there, but when you're in those moments of scorn and craziness, it's like your home base. You come back to it. It's like, all right, you could look at the day and like, God, come on, look Look what happened. I got to do this. I got to do then that. I mean, like, I don't even know. And you could really go off on a tangent in your mind of chaos, but then you back to the peace. Like, well, good. We're going to be good with that. We'll tackle that. We'll move past that. We'll get there. And it's going to be okay. Um, where's your home base for peace? Is it a room in your house? Is it a mindset? Is it a combination of all of that?
I feel peace anywhere in my home, but when I'm working, when I'm driving, my peace literally just comes from God. And I am very confident with saying that I have my relationship with him and how I've learned he really is my friend. And when I put on certain music, it just instantly can put me in a mindset of peace, knowing that I'm not doing this alone. So that is where my basis for peace really honestly does come from.
Hmm. So I believe that leads us to spiritualism and what that is, and I'm not connecting it to religion. You can if you
Yeah.
want, sure. But it's believing in something bigger than you, something
Yes.
bigger than you that's got your back as well. And that could be just the universe. Part of my belief is, and this could change tomorrow, but in my journey, this is where I'm at. Um, we're here to enjoy life. This universe thing around us doesn't want to blank us over. It wants to support us and make us, we're here to help. We're here to learn and teach. And you use your talents for that and your life purpose and all of that. But you need to believe in something bigger, whatever that is, whatever it could, it could be anything, but something that's bigger than you, that's got your back.
Yes. And sometimes in certain situations, the only way you can get peace is to leave that situation. And that's okay too. And what I mean by that is when you say believing in a higher power, in a higher self, yes, but if you're in a situation that's really chaotic, that's out of control, we need to learn to be able to put our mindset in that area. For some, it's going outside and just sitting outside because they get peace when they're out in nature. Now, my walks, I get instant peace when I go for walks. My body can ache. I can have a lot going on with my family, with my kids, but you get me out for a walk, I can decompress so quickly. And it's just, that's another one of my peaceful places. For some people, it's read. Give me a book. I'm really stressed today. I need to read. For some people, it's reading. Another way I can get my peace is working out. When I start working out, my whole body just starts relaxing.
Hmm.
I mean, I could have someone in a health crisis and you let me step away for 15, 20 minutes, even 10 minutes, and just change my breathing and get into an exercise mode or, get into a music mode, and I can instantly get back in that peace zone. So
Mm.
it really can be very different for a lot of people what brings them peace. But you have to remember, peace is when you're allowing your mind, your heart, and your soul into a state of being content where you're at. And that whatever situation you're around, they're not going to control and they're not going to determine how you are going to feel at that point. That does not mean that you're ignoring the situation. It does not mean you're walking away from the situation. It just means that you have learned where to put yourself to be able to be in that state of peace. And it may help others.
Mm.
Some people, have you ever been in a room before where somebody walks in and they just have such a presence about them that is just so peaceful and like so calm? It's possible for all of us to do that, even a type A person. It's top possible for a type A person to just be able to instantly bring peace to a situation. But you have to want it, you have to work at it,
Yep.
and you have to be willing to put yourself there, no matter what. And that's probably the hardest part about getting peace.
Once you figure it out, it's kind of amazing, right? What it can
Yeah.
do.
You feel higher than the world, actually, when you are walking in peace. It's like a it's like a huge transformation. And it really, your body can really react to that in so many ways, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that just kind of flows in learning how to have peace.
I remember the first time I believe I experienced it. It's going through some stuff, walked outside right from here. It was a spring day, relatively warm, and I had I don't know, half hour. I was going to go get a cup of coffee, and I just looked up at the sky, and I was like, even with everything going on, I felt this thing called a quiet calm, and that's how I describe it. Just like, it'll be all right. Yeah, here
Love that feeling.
you've walked through a doorway where previously I would like, oh my gosh, anything that would pop up 5 years ago, 10 years ago, oh my gosh, even though there wasn't even enough evidence to support that, we're heading toward DEFCON 5, not even close, not even close. But it would be things that I would conjure up like, oh my gosh, what? Now it's like, all right, whatever, on to the next. And that's not to say that we got a ton of stuff going on, you know, health issues, everything. But instead of letting them stack up to the point where, you know, it's like you put all this stuff in your backpack and now you're like tipping over, like, I don't know if I can handle all of that. It's almost as if you take each one out, you put it in front of you, and it's like, all right, we're going to handle that. Um, and like you said, it's almost whether it's a God, whether it's the universe, somebody's looking over your shoulder, like, yeah, don't worry, you got that. Go take that one, do that, take care of that, and then do these over here. Um, it's a habit, though. I'm thinking that peace, like, you need to practice it. It doesn't just
You
come out of
do.
the sky.
No, because I remember when in my first marriage, there was not a lot of peace towards the end, and it was very chaotic. And with having young children and being in that situation and finding out every day new things that had been going on and happening, that how can you be so blind to that? Because there again, you're trusting someone you've been with for so long.
Sure.
And were all my days peaceful then? No. And that's why I say learning to have peace is a process. But
Yeah.
as each thing came and as I had to get peace, you have to walk through the tough times. Don't build them up. Don't just brush them off. You literally have to walk through them. So if you're gonna have to walk through them, if it's 5 minutes a day, practice peace. Just saying, okay, I can't change that situation now, but how am I going to talk myself into quit thinking about it? How am I going to talk myself to quit blaming myself? Peace comes with there's so many pieces to peace.
Mm,
And it's hard to have peace if you're blaming yourself, if you have hate for somebody, if you have unforgiveness. And I'm 56 years old. I have seen a lot of things. I have personally been through a lot of things. And the peace I'm at right now was not the peace where I was in my 20s. I was learning peace. I was learning the different levels of peace and what it actually meant and how I could learn how to have it. And it really makes a difference when you do have friendships where they have peace too, where they're
mm,
not adding to the chaos, they're not adding to the pain that you're going in. Because a lot of people go, how can you have peace with all the pain you're going through? Like when my second husband was passing away, I knew we were on a timeline. How can you have peace through that? Well, with everything else I worked through, I learned to trust the process. And as long as I'm there, as long as I'm present, as long as I'm breathing through it and I'm doing my part, you can have peace. But it is a practice.
mm. And you have to realize that you can only control the things you can control. You have to let go. It's just, we hang on to these things, but you can't, whether it's people, whether it's situations, do the best you can with what you got there and have peace in knowing that you did. Um, but I 1 billion% agree with you that you have to go through the call it the bad stuff to get to the peace part because you see it from both sides. You could just be
Yeah.
living your life every day. Yeah, it's okay. All right. Do you have peace? You just living. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Is this the best though? And until that, situation comes up, and a lot of the things that you described, been there, done that, I get it. Um, that's where you realize that, there's peace on the other side. And I think the other part of peace is knowing that there's good stuff coming, is knowing
Yes.
that trusting, like it's gonna be good, whether it's a situation, whether you're waiting for abundance, better job situations, it's come my way. It's all right. And I don't think you're telling yourself lies. I think it's the universe's way.
Well, it's you learning to not have to control every situation. Um, a lot of people that I know that have to control everything,
Mm,
they're not very peaceful people. But like you said, you have to realize that everything that you go through, you can either learn and grow with, or you can let it destroy you. And that's a lot where peace comes in. We really can't control a whole lot of situations in our life. We can't,
mm,
but we can control how we handle it. And there again, communication. Peace is about communication too. In both my first and second situations I spoke about today, I was not in control of their actions and I was not in control of my second husband's health. You know, it's just something that came up on you. So then you have to learn another whole level of peace with that
yep.
because you can't control either of them. When your kids are little, you can control them. But now that my kids are adults, the stuff they're going through, I really have to learn to have peace in that too, knowing I did the best I could and they're going to be okay. And now they have to grow through it. And now
Yep.
they have to do their changes too. Peace is a peace is a process every day. It's a learning every single day. But if you're willing to walk through it and you're willing to just keep growing forward, your peace gets
Mm,
easier and easier to get into it. It's easier and easier to put yourself in that peaceful state when you're not in a good situation.
I love that growing forward because we are. We're going forward, but we're also growing forward. And yeah, on the kid side, you you can only do so much. Sometimes you have to pull back. You're on your own. I'm here for you, but there's only so much, it's and you can I want to go back to what you said before though about picking the right people for peace in your life. Sometimes you need to analyze that situation. And I know it because I met somebody recently, just an acquaintance of an acquaintance, talked a little bit. We text, from time to time. Not for me. Like, it's just like the personality is like, "Ah." I'm like, that's not my, no. And I've learned to realize that that doesn't work for me. Whether, whatever the relationship is, doesn't even matter. Just I didn't feel peace talking to them. And they
Yeah.
want to connect with me. And they're like, I'm just, I can't. It's just, I'm not feeling peace. I need to, you know, just chill. It's okay.
Well, everybody I know, you have certain people that you have to back off from. You don't totally give up on them or not hang out with them, but you really have to limit your time because all they do is just suck every energy out of you.
For sure.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. I mean, every day is already an exhausting thing for majority of the people, especially if they're not doing the job they want or they're in a situation where they don't have a choice of what decisions they have to make. But yeah, the
Mm.
last thing you need is to have someone just constantly at you and wanting your time and you're just not feeling it and it just
Yeah.
It's just taking so much. It takes a lot out of you, doesn't it?
It does. Even I'm being nice, texting this person and, some fun text back and forth, but um, ultimately they want to be more connected. And I'm not feeling that. But, my intuition told me all of that because I knew of them. We connected a little bit and we just had an opportunity um, where everybody was all hanging out and at a venue. And that's where conversation started. And it was longer conversation, got to know them a little bit better, but got to know that. But even prior to that, my intuition told me it's like, no, no, it's weird. Like when you start trusting your gut, it's almost like I tested. Maybe it's wrong. No, no, no. It was right. And I don't want to say I manifested or I'm looking at it through a different lens. It is what it is. That's what I was thinking, and it kind of transpired and turned into that.
Yeah, but isn't it nice when you get to that point in your life that you can kind of already know that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you already set yourself up for that. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that is because, like you said, you communicate all the time. You're communicating with different people all the time. And you've learned the act of communication and you've learned to pick up on things pretty quickly. And it also helps you in your personal life, not just
For
in
sure.
your professional life.
Oh yeah, in all areas with the intuition thing. I got some medical stuff happening, not nothing major. Been through some of them before. Again, nothing major, but I don't even have test results back, and I already know what the answer is. And I'll $100 on the counter. I just know.
Yeah.
And it's stuff I've done before. Uh, just do it again. All good, not an issue. Um, and then you move on.
Yeah. Well, like last year, I had some pretty big health things come up that I was not expecting. And I was not in a state of peace
I
because
get it.
this was new for me. And
I
I
get
was
it.
just like, oh, okay,
Oh,
how
oh,
am
I
I
get it.
handling this?
Yeah.
How am I going to walk through this one? And so I'm still learning peace in different situations that you are totally not expecting,
Oh, for sure.
that just blow out of nowhere. And then when I sit at night, I'm thinking, oh, come on, Don, you should be able to just walk through this one thing at a time. But you're
Mm-hmm.
like, I worked my whole life not to have this happen to my body. Like, what? And
Yeah.
you really can't control that. So how do you learn to have peace when you really can't even control what's going on in your body? And here you work out, you eat healthy, you do this, you do that.
Mm.
Yeah, it last year took me for a whirlwind. I'm human just like everybody else. And sometimes I have to preach to myself. And yeah, it's now I'm coming out of the end of it and I'm like, whew, I made it through another big thing because this time it wasn't somebody around me. It was me.
I got you on that. I
And
totally
so
relate for
it's
sure.
pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You are learning
Uh,
peace every single day.
but that's how you know the difference.
Yeah.
You need to have, like you said, the crazy stuff. And I'm older than you significantly. Um, and I look at it, never really had any stuff going on, little things here and there, nothing. And nothing really major now either. But then I look at it as like, all right, dude, you know, look at how old you are. Good run so far. Look at other people your age and what they're dealing with. I'm like, well, I guess we're good. And the biggest, in that recent situation, the biggest, trip up was I had some stuff done 2 years ago. I'm going to do the same exact thing again. It's minor skin cancer, but it's, a certain treatment. Dealing with it for like 20 years, piece here, piece there, whatever. So I'm like, all right, that's what we're going to do. And then I find out my insurance doesn't, where I went previously, they don't take my insurance now. I'm like, really? So now I have to change my insurance because I really like them. Um,
Yeah.
and like, then I look at it this way. Thank you, universe, because it's enrollment period for insurance. If it wasn't this time of the year, I wouldn't be able to do it. I was like, thank you very much.
Well,
Appreciate that.
that's true. So see, there's something that was positive that came out of you just taking a deep breath and going, okay,
Yeah,
what can I do to make this where
all
what
good.
can I do to make this work? Yep.
Yeah, it's all good. I love your transparency. It's refreshing. It's invigorating because we realize that we're all kind of dealing with the same stuff. We're thinking the same things. Yeah.
Well, like I said, we can't control our situations very often,
Mm,
but we can control how we handle them.
for sure.
That's our choice, not the situation's choice, not the people we're dealing with. That's our choice.
Yep.
That's where we have to learn peace.
So somebody needs to navigate this. Is resonating with them. Best way to find you?
My website is livingbb.org. My email is donrenee@livingbb.org, and my phone number is 952-200-1103.
Wonderful talking with you, Dawn. I really appreciate all your insight. Backs up some of the things I wondered about, and you definitely fortified it. And I appreciate you. Thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you for taking time with me, and you have a blessed week.
You too. And I'm going to say it. Peace out. And peace be with you. Find peace.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.